Today, we're going to talk about the hidden signs that your child is being coached. So your child has come back from seeing the other parent and they say something that stops you in your tracks. It feels familiar. It's an accusation that you've heard before. But when you ask them about it with some gentle questions, they either shut down or they lash out. If this sounds familiar, this video is for you. Why it's harder to evidence than you think. Well, cafcass and courts, unfortunately, are still looking at individual incidences rather than a behavioural pattern. And often those individual instances on their own, they don't meet the threshold of harm. And so part of your work is to show the collective pattern. And that's what we're going to be looking through. And I'm going to share a tool that is designed to help you with that. First, let's look at the 5 signs that your child is being coached. So number 1, they're using adult vocabulary, words that you've never heard them use before, and they're saying it exactly the same as your ex is doing. They're making the exact same allegations that your ex has made. Number 2, scripted answers. So if you ask them something with regards to what they've said, again, it sounds as though it's almost been rehearsed, like they know what they've got to say in response to that. But if you ask them gentle questions around, like, what happened before that? What do you know what that word means? Can you help me understand this a bit more? They shut down, or like I say, they lash out at you. Because they don't know the rest. They haven't been coached to know the whole situation, because usually it's false. It's either a false memory or it's information that someone has given to them that they've got no context of. Number 3, sudden shifts in how they either refer to you or relate to you. So they might stop calling you by mum or dad. They might start using your first name. This is a real red flag. But it also might be just how they relate to you. They might initially come back and be angry at you, when normally when you pick them up from school or nursery or whatever, they're really pleased to see you and they'll give you a hug. Or they'll start saying things like, I don't want you to do that for me, when they've always wanted you to help them with stuff. Those are the real subtle signs, but they're important to note. Number 4, disappearing memory. So they can't recall positive things about you. They struggle to remember. So for example, if they make an accusation, they come home with an accusation and you try and say, oh, well, do you remember the time that we went to the seaside? They'll be, no. They can remember, but it's not part of the script that they've been told. So when they try and recall it, they know that they're not allowed, because they don't know what they're allowed to say, because they're being controlled and coached in what to say, or coerced into what to say. Then they just want to stick to it. They don't want to deviate from it. And this will happen, usually just at the start. When they come back to you, they settle in fairly easily and you can have relaxed. Obviously, the longer it goes on, the more it can impact the contact going on. But number 5 is they experience physical anxiety before and after contact, but not during. So it's not being recorded by the other parent that anything's happening. They're not seeing any of the anxiety that you're seeing. And that in and of itself is important, because the child, if you're going into a situation where things are being expected of you, you can't relax, you can't just be yourself, you're going to get asked, oh, did you do this? What's happened? You're going to feel anxious, and knowing when you're sent back with a grenade to blow up the parent's house, you're going to know what that feels like. And so again, another important thing for you to record. As I mentioned before, this is about evidencing patterns, not incidences. And again, I want to say that this isn't about proving your ex is a bad parent or, you know, getting evidence that against your ex. This is about building a picture of what your child is experiencing, because cafcass are trained to see things from the child's world. That's what family court is looking at, is what is going on for this child, what is happening. So the priority is you helping them to see what your child is experiencing, because then they can understand and act. Now, I've designed a free tool for you called the Coercive Control of a Child Behaviour Translation Tool to help you to capture and translate those sorts of behaviours. And it will translate it into a format that you can use with cafcass and the courts. So if you're interested in accessing this free tool, just comment protect and I'll send the link over to you. What not to do. This is just as important as what to do. So don't ask any leading questions of the children. It can be then twisted to make it appear that you're coaching them instead. So let the child lead the conversation as much as possible. Focus on their emotional needs and let them speak freely. Don't ask. Try not to ask yes or no questions. Ask open questions, but don't ask leading questions. Number 2, don't tell your child, your interpretation of what they're saying. So don't tell them what you think is happening, because it compromises their behaviour. You know, if they think you're onto them, they're going to be worried. They're going to be scared that the other parent's going to be angry with them. And so they're going to modify their behaviour. But also it compromises your evidence, because your ex can easily then say, oh, well, you've twisted that. You've put that idea in their head that that's what's going on. And number 3, don't tell your ex what the child has said, because it puts the child in the middle. It tells the child that they can't trust you to tell them things. And again, it can be twisted. It can be made to sound as though you're the one doing the harm to your child, and they will use anything and everything to distort what is really going on. So those are the 3 things to avoid. So if you're seeing these signs, the most important thing you can do after you've met your child's emotional needs, of course, is to start recording these things properly. And that is where my free tool comes in. It will help you to translate what you're seeing into court-ready evidence and patterns. So comment protect below and I will send you the link. Then if there's also the option of doing the Coercive Control of a Child course if you want to go deeper into understanding what is happening to your child in these situations. Don't forget to like, comment and share if you found this video useful. Take care. Bye-bye.